All right, today we have not one, but two of the freshest multi-hyphenated talents in the game. We got Finn Wolfhard, who is no longer just starring in stories. He's shooting the shots behind the camera. And beside him, we got Billy Bryk, a creative new force. His dad is acting royalty, and now he's carving his own path. We're ready for a hell of a summer, boys. What's up?
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, is this like a Spielberg, Scorsese kind of partnering the two of you? I'm liking this. You two both directing this film.
Oh yeah, that's our inspiration. When we met each other, we labeled each other as that.
Nice. Do you guys remember the first time you met? I'll ask Billy. I think it was on the Ghostbusters set of Afterlife. What was your first impression, Billy, of Finn, and what makes you guys connect so much that you're friends and making movies now?
Funny enough, the first time we met, actually, I just met Finn as a fan. I met him in the streets of Toronto where I grew up, and I knew because of following him on Instagram, he would post about all these movies that I loved, like movies that meant so much to me, and he would talk about how much they meant to him. And then also comedians and other people on the internet that he really liked. And I always thought, oh man, I feel like I'd get along with this kid. And then I met him, and then we just sort of talked about comedy and movies for about 5 minutes on the street, 5 minutes tops. And then about a year and a half later, I got cast in Ghostbusters. It was one of my first movies, and I sat across from Finn. And he was looking at me and he was like, do I know you? And I said, no, not really. I mean, one time we met on the street, and he's like, dude, from Toronto, you're the Jake and Amir kid. Like, I think about that all the time. And then from there, that conversation from 18 months before, like, picked up right where we left off. And we dove into talking about other movies that we loved. And we realized that we both, since a very young age, have wanted to be filmmakers and to write and direct. And then pretty soon after, we started writing this script together, and then over the last 6 years have been developing it, shooting it, editing it, and now, promoting it. So it's been a great process, and we get along very well. We're both Canadian, and again, I think we just share a lot of the same sensibilities and sense of humor, so it made us a good team on this one.
It's a great story, too, how you guys were fighting and trying to raise the money, and independent film, you found a studio. I know making movies is not easy, but Finn, you've made some heavyweight movies with people like even Stranger Things, the series with the Duffer Brothers, Anthony Muschietti with It, Jason Reitman with Ghostbusters. Finn, did you pick up anything specific from their directing roles? How did these guys that you worked with influence the way you're working on this new movie, Hell of a Summer?
Yeah, no, I mean, I learned everything from those sets. I wouldn't be able to, direct as I have been without just being able to watch all of these amazing directors work and really soak up as much as of their kind of style and their work as possible. So I'm very heavily influenced by all the directors that I've worked with, and I'm glad that I've gotten to work with also people that have directed a lot of horror and know that understand horror and understand how to direct actors and understand also how to direct comedy as well. So, I was in a very good position and very lucky.
I'm excited about this new movie. It's in theaters coming up this weekend. We're all excited to go get back to the theater and check this guys out. I watched the trailer. Some really good work in here. I mean, I see everything from slasher cult film to some great comedy, to some sex, to some weed. I even heard somebody mention some head in the movie, which has got a lot of people excited. So you guys wrote the entire movie. It sounds like you guys are very creative. I like your creative process, to be honest.
Oh yeah, our creative process involving head and weed is definitely an inspiration for us.
Yeah, nice work.
I mean, yeah, we
Thank you.
You gotta touch all the bases, But it really was this idea of wanting to make a movie that felt like these ensemble teen coming of age comedies that we grew up watching, and then meet that with all the excitement and fun of a great camp slasher movie. So the idea of being like, what would happen if we tried to make Superbad meets Friday the 13th? Have elements of all of these films that we grew up adoring and mix them all into one and sort of give our own voice to these characters.
And Finn, how did you guys separate the responsibilities? Is there something like Finn's better at working with talent and Billy's better at working with wardrobe? I mean, was it like you had some responsibilities, both of you, or was it just a collective? Everything was together?
Billy was only tasked with the shirts, I would say, with the t-shirt.
Yeah, he's like I was just ironing the shirts all the time.
Yeah,
I think he wasn't on set.
Yeah, he wasn't even on set. No, I think both of us had such a shared vision for the film, and because we had been writing it for years before, I would say it was a very fluid process. You know, sometimes it would be just depending on the situation, depending on the scene, we would be switching between giving actors notes depending on, you know, like which of us wanted to go and give the note. There was times where one of us had a technical note before the other did. So it was a really fluid process, but we were both always on the same page.
The new movie, Hell of a Summer, proof that Finn and Billy aren't just two of the brightest young actors. They're full-on filmmakers now. So shout out to 30 West also, by the way, for believing in these guys. But I grew up as a kid in the 1980s. You know, I'm an OG, as they say. Ghostbusters, that was a 80s cult classic. Top Gun, Beetlejuice, all these great 80s films that I loved as a kid. Now being rebooted, you guys involved with Ghostbusters. I'll start with you, Finn. What's a movie from your childhood that you feel like in 15, 20 years, you hope to be a part of a reboot and a rebirth of something that was just so good from your childhood?
That's a great question. Stuff that I watched, I guess, as a kid. I think that there's a lot of movies that I think could be updated. I mean, Billy and I are actually developing a film that we both watched from our childhood that actually came out in 1999, called Idle Hands, which was this sort of cult comedy horror film. And so we've been developing sort of a reimagining of that and feel that it would be a great thing to reintroduce to a new generation. But as far as that goes, I feel like, you know, reboots and all that stuff it's hard to do, but you know, it has to be the perfect, you know, project, I guess, to reboot.
Three Ninjas reboot.
A Three Ninjas reboot for Billy. Ninjas? I never really got into Three Ninjas. Yeah. I remember the Ninja Turtles, but they've already rebooted that a lot of times.
Well, I mean, look, if the Ninja Turtles are on the table, the Ninja Turtles are there. There's my answer. I mean, the Ninja Turtles are amazing, but
Billy, that would be good.
For a while, I really wanted to do a Ninja Turtles movie, but then I feel like when Seth Rogen and them did
it's over.
Yeah.
Well, it did some of the stuff that I would have wanted to do with it. So, you know.
We're talking with Billy Bryk. These guys, like I said, they're the next Spielberg, the next Scorsese. They got next. I'm thrilled to be chatting with them. They got a big movie. Blockbuster cult classic is coming to the theaters called Hell of a Summer. Finn, I know Stranger Things. I go back to the 80s because for some reason, you know, that's my childhood. But that show soaked in 80s references. After living in that decade through this show, I feel like you've kind of grown up in the 80s. What do you genuinely love about that decade, Finn?
I don't know. I mean, you know, obviously didn't at all live through that generation, but there's something about it that is, about the generation that is so fun to watch and to learn about, because it was a time where I feel like, you know, like America and like was such an idealized, I think, place for children to grow up, and you know, being able to have the freedom to go out and hang out with your friends for the entire day and not ever check in with your parents and just show up for dinner. Like, I think that's like appealing for a lot of people, and I think that people felt very free back then. So it's a fun thing to be able to go back to and revisit.
Things I like doing when I was a kid was collecting things. I still collect baseball cards and vinyl records. I'm curious, Billy, is there anything that you like to collect, like Pokemon cards, weird taxidermy? I mean, what are you into collecting, Billy? Anything?
Yeah, I'm quite into like bootleg Simpsons stuff from the early 90s. I think there's a lot of really fun, insane bootleg Simpsons merchandise from around the world, and then to a similar thing, I like bootleg Batman stuff from like the 60s, 70s, 80s. There's a lot of great stuff out of Japan and out of Mexico that's cool and unique.
Sweet. And Finn, I know you've been in 2 bands, I believe now, maybe even more. How's your love of music going? Is that still got your creativity going? What instrument do you play, or multiple instruments?
Yeah, I play multiple instruments, but I guess guitar is kind of my main thing. Still very passionate about music, and it's something that definitely is not lost on me still, which is great. I think it'll always be a gigantic part of my life.
Yeah, so. I play the guitar. What do you know about Mixolydian, Lydian? Do you know music theory and that kind of stuff? Because I'm starting to get into it, and it's really starting to get confusing.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, the whole reason why I got into music is so I didn't have to use my brain. So the people who use music theory, I have high respect for, but it would break my brain, I think.
You just like jamming. Well, we're jamming right now with Finn and Billy. They got a big movie that you got to see. It's funny. It's going to be huge in the theater coming up this weekend. Make sure you see it. Hell of a Summer. I will leave you with this, Finn. When I told my son and my daughter that we were going to be talking to you guys, they were excited about both hearing from Finn and Billy. But my son specifically said, ask Finn about the famous meme that it goes around and everyone's been seeing for a long time, and that's you flipping off the camera. He says that's legendary. So are you familiar that you have a legendary meme, flipping the bird? Because
yes.
Yes.
And listen, I'm glad that it's a positive meme and people like it, because that meme could have been absolutely eviscerated, and there's so many memes of celebrities that make fun of them. So I'm glad I got the one that people like.
Yeah, people love it. So, F you, a big flip off to the haters, and make sure you go see the new movie, Hell of a Summer, with my boys, Billy and Finn. Wishing you guys both massive success with the film and everything else, and don't be strangers. Hopefully you'll come back on the show again, boys.
Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, peace out.